Thank you for listening to ShulchanAruch.com.
Traveling from Eretz Yisrael to the diaspora, or vice versa, and it happens to be within the time that there's a change in the dialect of the prayer between Israel and the diaspora in terms of requesting rain. As we know, the halacha and custom is that in Eretz Yisrael we begin asking for rain in the bracha of Baruch Aleinu starting from the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, while in the diaspora we only begin from 60 days from the start of the autumn season, which lands on the 5th of December in most non-leap years. So what do you do if you're traveling back and forth during this period? Do you say Visein Tal Umatar Livracha like Eretz Yisrael if that's where you came from? Do you say Visein Tal Umatar Livracha if that's where you arrived to? Or do you not say it? So this question carries a general discussion in halacha regarding the status of a traveler if when he travels, he takes with him in his suitcase, his spiritual suitcase, the laws and customs of his departing country, or if he has to adapt to the customs and rulings of the arrival country. And so too regarding this matter, we find a major debate amongst the poskim. A large group of poskim, who we will soon name, rule that you follow where you came from. So if you're an Israeli who traveled to the diaspora, comes the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, you begin asking for rain in Baruch Aleinu, just like in Eretz Yisrael, because that's where you live. Your family is there. That's where you need the blessings. So even though you're a yachid, a single individual amongst a community who's not saying it, nonetheless you say it. So rules the Pri Chadash in chapter 117, the Marikash in Erech Lechem, Halachis Ktanis, Radbaz, in volume 5, Tshuva 55, the Shalmei Tzibur, the Pri Megadim, Rabbi Kiva Eger, the Shulchan Atar, Toras Chaim Sefer, the Gus Moshe, and other Poskei Direinu. Other Poskim, however, rule that a traveler always follows the arrival destination, and thus if you're traveling from Eretz Yisrael to the diaspora before the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, when the 7th of Mar Cheshvan arrives, you do not say Visein Tal Umatar Livracha, as you follow the custom of your current community that you're in, which does not begin to say it till the 5th of December. If you happen to return to Eretz Yisrael before the 5th of December, you'll start saying it like Bnei Eretz Yisrael. But until then, you don't say it. So rules the Chidah and Birkei Yosef based on many Gedolim of his time. So rules the Dvar Shmuel, Shalmei Tzibur, Beis Ovid, Ber Chaim of Reb Shmuel Vital, Chesed La'alaf in the K'tzais HaShulchan, and other poskim. Practically, how do we rule? And is there a difference between the variety of cases as we will delineate? We will list 4 different cases here that require an arbitration of what to do regarding this big machlekes. Case 1. You're an Israeli, you're in Eretz Yisrael, you're a resident of Eretz Yisrael, you travel to the diaspora before the 7th of Mar Cheshvan. The 7th of Mar Cheshvan has now arrived in the diaspora. You have a machlekes here about what to do, as we mentioned. What should you follow? Bottom line practical ruling is, as rule many Poskei Direinu, as an arbitration between the two opinions, a compromise, that while you should not recite it in Baruch Aleinu, as does everyone in Eretz Yisrael, upon the arrival of the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, you are to recite it in Shemei Tefillah. And thereby you go according to everybody. So suggests the Rebbe in Likutei Sichos, volume 19. So is the direct of the Chazon Ish, the Stipler, the Tukachinsky, in Sefer Eretz Yisrael, the Divrei Yatziv, Mishnah Halachas, the Shevet HaLevi, Kana Beisim, Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and other Poskei Direinu. And this is practically one should follow. They should say it within Shema Keleinu until they return to Eretz Yisrael before the 5th of December, or until their arrival of the 5th of December, in which they will then begin saying it within Baruch Aleinu. Nonetheless, being that this whole thing is under debate, if they forgot to say it even in Shema Keleinu, they do not repeat Shemona Esrei, as the whole thing is under debate. And in a case of doubt, you do without. Safek brachas lahakol. The next case, again, you're traveling from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz La'aretz. This time, though, it's between the 7th of Mar Cheshvan and the 5th of December. So you already began saying Visein Tal Umatar Livracha on the 7th of Mar Cheshvan. Do you stop? What do you do? So in this situation, even the poskim who said follow your destination, and therefore say you shouldn't say Visein Tal Umatar Livracha, like Eretz Yisrael, in this case that you already began saying it, they rule that you should continue saying it. So rules the Chidah in Birkei Yosef 117.5 and in Kesher Gudal, the Shalmei Tzibur, Chesed La'alaf, and the Kaf HaChaim, and other poskim. Only in the event that he's moving for good to Chutz La'aretz, then he should stop saying it once he arrives in Chutz La'aretz. But so long as he's really a resident of Eretz Yisrael, he should continue saying it. This applies even if he has a flight the night of the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, and he's davening a Ma'ariv before the flight in Ben Gurion Airport, and he said Visein Tal Umatar Livracha. He's now going to do it for the rest of the time. Now, what about if he wants to be Chazan? Let's say he's a Chiyuv, he has a yard site, or he's within the year of Avelis. So in such a case, the Poskim write, in his private Shemoneh Esrei, he should say Visein Tal Umatar Livracha and Baruch Aleinu, as we mentioned. However, in his repetition, he should say, like the area that he's in, meaning he will say the same bracha if it's prior to the 5th of December. There's no need for him to avoid being the Chazan for this reason. Now let's go to the opposite case. You're traveling from Chutz La'aretz to Eretz Yisrael. So if you're traveling before the 7th of Mar Cheshvan and you're in Eretz Yisrael when the 7th of Mar Cheshvan arrives, once again we have that same debate we mentioned, like the destination arrival area or like the area that you departed from. And in this situation, the leaning arbitration of many G'dei Yisrael and many Poskim is like the second opinion we mentioned of the Chidah and others, to recite Visein Tal Umatar Livracha and Baruch Aleinu like in Eretz Yisrael, and not to follow the area you left from. In such a case, if you return to Chutz La'aretz before the 5th of December, you're going for a week or two, then when you return back to Chutz La'aretz, you stop saying it. And once again, if in such a case one forgot to mention between the 7th of Mar Cheshvan and the 5th of December while in Eretz Yisrael, you don't repeat Shemoneh Esrei because it's still under debate. And Safek Brachas Lahakal. Now what about a case that you traveled after the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, but before the 5th of December? So here too it's subject to the same debate, and the practical arbitration is that you should say Visein Tal Umatar Livracha in Baruch Aleinu while you're in Eretz Yisrael. Nonetheless, some poskim of today say that you should say in Shemei Tefillah in such a situation. Practically in all cases of question, one is to contact the Rav for a final ruling.
Thank you for listening to ShulchanAruch.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at ShulchanAruch.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many Sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.